Hello and welcome to the About the Situation podcast. Here, uh, it's me, George, and along with me is Andrew.
Hi guys,
Yeah,
and I hope girls.
yeah, and we will talk about different things on this podcast, primarily IT because we are working in IT, but later on you can expect various different topics as well, so stay tuned for that. And we are planning to release this podcast weekly for now, and we hope you will like it. So if you do like, please, uh, click a like and share it. It will help us tremendously. Thank you. So I think it's a good idea to start the podcast from the introducing of ourselves. So as for me, my name is George. I'm from Ukraine actually, and I'm working in IT. But the funny thing that I'm working in Poland. Yeah, because I finished the university here, my master's degree, and I immediately found a job and I decided to stay here. So that's basically it. Okay, I'll say that I have four-ish. Yeah, I have four already years of experience, and I'm doing front end. So what about you?
Well, my name is Andrew. I'm from Ukraine too. I done engineer degree in Poland and currently work as backend developer here in Poland.
Yeah, cool. So as you can see, we are not English speakers, so sorry if we do some mistakes. But we decided to do the podcast in English because English is like universal language. Anybody can have access to our podcast. Anybody can listen from anywhere, and also because IT is primarily English speaking itself. So what the fuck was that?
No, continue.
Okay. Uh, yeah, if you have any questions, by the way, please leave it in comments, or if you have any suggestions. So, first topic that we wanted to talk about is the IT itself, and we will start probably from the most basic thing, the whole IT, because right now, people, when talking about IT, people see this cool industry that does many different cool things like Google, Apple, you have Android, iOS, gaming, all that magical stuff. And also people when you talk about IT, people see a lot of money. And people just think that, oh, I'm gonna watch some tutorials, I'm gonna become a software engineer, and I'm gonna make some real shit money. Do you agree with that opinion?
Yes, probably, but the picture is not so light as you described it. Yeah, of course, it's a common point of view that everyone when think about IT think that it's prestige job, easy money, easy tasks, and so on. But there are a lot of other things, things which not everyone talk about.
For example?
For example, I think money is not so easy as it described. You started from quite low prices. Other
Yeah.
things is health. You will damage your health in I don't know, maybe in 80% of, of all developers. I think have some problems with their health
Yeah,
and so
that's
on.
that's true. That's true. So
It's a price which you are going to pay for for what you're going to get.
yeah, I think it's the way how media portrays IT overall is in a very good light, but actually, like any other, um like any job, there are minuses as well as pluses. Because the people just thinking that you're doing nothing in front of computer, you're just staring in the monitor, doing nothing, and you have a lot of money. But that's obviously not the case. Uh, you have a lot to sacrifice in order to be successful in IT. And actually, the funny thing because mm, previously, uh, when IT was just beginning, the programming was just beginning, Google, Apple, etc., or like 90s or even 80s, uh, the people that did programming were like super nerds who absolutely loved programming, and they did it in a garage with no salaries, no money at all. They didn't expect anything. They didn't expect to be paid. They just happened to do what they liked, to create something new, something useful, and then it suddenly became successful, the thing that they created, like with Apple, for example. They suddenly, after success, came money, came fame, and people all of a sudden were started to thinking that hey, IT, it looks like it's an easy money. And a lot of people started to go to IT. A lot of people started to do tutorials. A lot of people started to watch tutorials. And right now, I'm not sure for 100% what's the situation like in other countries, but in Poland, the IT market is overflown with a lot of junior developers, and very small amount of companies actually want to hire junior developers.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, when you are a junior, you simply cannot bring money to the company. So company should take a risk to hire you, to teach you, and then there is, basically you have no reasons to stay there. You can go anywhere you want, and company will just lose their money because nowadays it's all about money. So it's just to hire junior is economically not
Not
useful,
profitable.
not profitable. Yes, thank you for this source.
Yeah,
So
uh, yeah. Usually, people expect that they come to the office, they get introduced to the thing that they will be doing, and they will get an easy money doing the thing. It's not hard to sit in front of the computer and just type the keyboard every day, but the reality is actually not like this at all. First, you need to finish the university, or you can do a lot of things by yourself if you actually do like programming. But then still, until you will start making good money, at least 3 or 4 years will pass. And until that point, you will probably make not more than, I don't know, a teacher in school, a guy on the factory, or just
yeah,
a
yeah.
salesman.
Yeah, I think it's comparable to become I don't know, to become a doctor, for example. The doctors they should study 7 years in university, yes, then to make some. They started from a low level, yes, and good doctor salary started when they have, I don't know, 15 years of experience or something like this. And I think situation is similar in IT currently.
Yep.
As for me, I spent in IT, for example, 8 years, and I still don't think that I earn good enough money.
Yep, true.
So it's-
It's very different than people usually expect. And well, my point at least, if you're considering going into IT for money, just forget about it. You can make the same money, if not more, in other areas as well.
which you like. So yes, I totally agree with you. It should be your hobby, something like things which your passion.
Yeah, which leads us to the question who actually uh, needs to go to IT. So the people, in my opinion, who like programming, who just like to create new things like internet pages or uh, Android applications, iOS applications, desktop, or games. If you like to do it, if you spend literally hours a day doing this kind of stuff, and you already have some knowledge, you already have some skills, at least minimal, you should really consider going into IT. But if you are starting to program something and you realize it's a little bit boring, then you should probably not go into IT. Well, you can go into IT but do something different as well. You can test things if something crashes, if something breaks, if you can find any bugs, or you can go into sales but in the IT company. You can be a manager of IT guys if you have a good communications and you have good management skills. That's as well nice. But mainly, you need to understand when we are talking about IT, we mean programming specifically.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, you can go to IT for money, and you will get those money maybe, but it's an interesting life to do what you don't want to do just for money.
Yeah, there's actually
I don't think
a
so.
lot of similar examples that people who went to IT for money, they, because usually you can tell if the person likes programming or not. But if you're persistent enough, for example, if you stay in the same company for 10 years and you will get promotion after promotion after promotion, you will probably get finally to the amount of money that you wanted to earn. But the amount of time that you need to do stuff that you consider boring, stuff that you don't really like, that's just, in my opinion, it's not worth it. Um, and also, you need to consider other minuses such as losing sight. I know it's pretty common problem. I think 70%, but I may be wrong. Around that percent of software engineers slowly losing sight over time, and also the back problems because you need to sit down if you're in front of your computer almost all the time. Well, minimally 8 hours a day, but usually you spend in front of the computer more because you come home, you return home, and there's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's any other social activities. There's you want to watch a movie, you want to do something else on the computer, and you usually end up spending like 10, 12 hours a day in front of your computer, and that's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
So let's say you decided that you want to go into the IT, that you want to program things. What do you need to do to get your first
Well,
job?
I think you should try things. You should try some different areas. What you like to do in programming, because there are a lot of different a lot of different subjects. I mean, websites, robots, games, and so on. And then I think you just start to do things for yourself. Create some public public repositories on the GitHub, for example, and publish your results. I mean, you should have some social activity, and you should constantly learn new things and improving your skills as programmer. And then, if you want to go to a company, you should start creating your CV and simply send your CVs to companies around you, because working in team is helping you to become a better programmer faster. I think in a good team, of course.
Yeah, if you ask me the same question, I will probably tell you that first you need to know what you want to do. And I mean, like you said, you need to choose whether you want to do uh, like desktop applications, maybe games, maybe something else, maybe banking. Maybe banking is too boring for you. Maybe you want to do something else. Maybe you want to do Android application. Maybe you want to do iOS thing. Maybe you want to program cars like Tesla does. Maybe you want to do robotics like Boston Dynamics. So in order to do that, you need to know different technologies and you need to start by learning them and trying to do more real stuff. What I mean is do small little projects that somebody can actually use because it will give you some experience. It will make you better with the programming tool that you use, and also you will have something to show the recruiters, the HRs, because as I said, for example, in Poland, the market is overflowing with juniors and nobody wants to hire them. So it will be very nice if you had at least something to show that, hey, I did this project, I did this project, I'm not a complete newbie. You will you won't have to teach me from the very beginning, from the very basics. I know the basics already. That would be very helpful. And also, I think socializing, like creating an account on LinkedIn, just linking different people from different companies to your account, and knowing some people, it never hurts, let's say. And also, if you get to the point that you already have some projects, blah, 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 then you need to either knock on the doors to some company or wait for them to find you. And I don't think option two is for newbies. So you need to do the option one. And unfortunately, right now in IT, the recruiters, what they look at is not really the skills that you have, but the experience that you have. And there are some cases in IT that 1 year experienced guy is actually better than 2 years experienced guy because he worked harder. He knows more. But the recruiter has no way of telling that until the technical interview. So the recruiter will mostly look at the amount of experience that you have. So here's a little life hack for you. It's not super honest to do that, but it's not illegal, I would say, from my point of view. So if you did some project for yourself and you actually spent a lot of time on it, like 4, 6 hours a day, and you created something great, you can uh, you can type it as a experience that you were self-employed during that time. And whether it's a month or 2 or 3, it will be beneficial for you either way.
Yeah, I think it's a good way because, as you said, the market is overloaded of juniors, and you should have something which distinguish you from others. So you should have a great GitHub account. You should, I don't know, maybe provide some YouTube channel about programming or trying to do things. Of course, you should have your own projects. Some maybe you should have some certificates because when your recruiter has I don't know 10 candidates, you should show him or her that why you are better than the others.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, if there are people who will ask, but George, but Andrew, How can I learn to code, to create some small projects to my GitHub if I don't know how to code? Well, simple. Do you know how much internet courses there are right now? It literally never been easier to get into the programming right now. It's like hundreds of thousands of different courses. And there are even hundreds of free courses as well. If you don't want to spend money for it, fine, just go with the free course. It will teach you the basics, and then if you think it's for you, you can actually buy some of the paid good courses and get the knowledge that you need. It's literally super simple right now.
Yeah, and having Stack Overflow, you can always ask things. You can always try to answer things. Maybe it's more profitable than asking, because when you on Stack Overflow, someone asks you some real things how to do, and you're trying to find an answer on it. It's very helpful, I think.
Yeah, but that's not for the beginners, I would say.
Yeah, but I agree that Google having Google, you can do a lot of things because there are a lot of answers.
Yep. So, in summary, uh, IT is not for everyone, and it's not as good as you probably think it is. So, unless you're absolutely certain that you like programming, you shouldn't really go into it. But if you decide you do want to go, first create something by yourself, first learn the basics by yourself to actually have something uh, at the start, have something to show to everybody else, have some at least basic experience, and then you can go for it. And then, by the way, uh, okay, it's a whole other topic, but I'll just say my opinion real quick. You don't need higher education to do programming. Okay, I've said it. I promise we will talk about it more in the future podcasts. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, like usual, like, subscribe, share. Leave us your feedback in the comments. It will be interesting to hear what you have to say. We will try to improve the podcast every time. So, yep. And okay, one last question, Andrew. What's your salary?
It's a good question. I feel very.
Okay,
I,
guys, that was
no, no,
it. Bye bye.